Oh my god, the ringing even follows into the journal. We'll check the journal afterwards, but for now, we're gonna deal with this. The railings offer steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bars surely tightens, though, once the call connects.
Ashton!
Alright, let's check the journal. Ashton Frey received a phone call from the chief of Luxbourne Police, first thing in the morning, informing him that he had been taken off the Luxbourne firm case. Although his protests fell on deaf ears, this sudden turn of events proved a hunch. Anything else for the day? Yes. Disturbed by the ruckus outside her unit, Isabella reprimanded Ashton for the noise. The latter noted her disheveled appearance and puffy eyes. That is not anything to look away from. My goodness, that's very, very tame as far as pajamas go. Although before he could ask about it, she brought up the issue with BRC again and insisted they both look into it that night. Well, that's it for that day. With the help of Professor Andrew Clark, Rebecca was able to gain access to Luxbourne Library's restricted section, and there she discovered numerous accounts about the Ermengardes, all hidden from the public. Her research was interrupted, however, when Rebecca was seen limping out of... We already read these. Why is it doing this? Checking her mobile. Looking at her mobile. We also already looked at Ashton's. Why is it doing this?
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and he's certainly fit for a man of his age with a sedentary job. Definitely need to work on the cardio for that.
Oh, no, not today.
He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from the children and families, filter through the receiver. I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. What? Could-haves? Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited, although neither remarried. They're both content with their lives as it is. Oh, the possibility of him having siblings, I guess. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion to children, because he couldn't have siblings. Weird. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark does.
Just thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again.
Around where I live, if you go to the park without children, you get labeled a pedophile and get harassed. Fun.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
I mean, without, your own children. Everyone's hyper vigilant. The guy certainly seems happy right now. In any case, I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type, however, long-held resentment can change a person, even someone as mild-mannered as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the case.
I suppose I'm just the downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Suddenly sounds like he's gonna kill someone. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'll see in my face and my mannerisms. My god, cat, stop meowing. The art of keen observation, I learned it from the man. He probably already has an idea what this might be about from my manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
For a second, I hesitate, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage, eventually, after a long, ragged draw of breath, I pick up where I've left off, though still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton!
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector.
Detective Inspector? Inspector Detective?
That exhausted rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was taken off the Luxbourne firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, maybe even disappointment. Perhaps he threw his phone. Wow, it looks like Ashton's thrown his phone plenty. But all he gives is a small sigh of relief.
Is that so? Well, at least you aren't in danger. Live Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Liz. Aunt Liz, she insisted I call her, his late wife, who was murdered by... What's his name? What's his name? Relationships. Luke. Murdered by Luke. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. Wait, she's dead. How would he... Strange. He speaks of her as if she's still alive. I guess that's his coping mechanism. They were never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. But she's the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her. The professor, too. He was also like a mother to him. In the absence of my own parents in my life, the two filled the ache their divorce left in me. Because once they divorced, they just completely abandoned their only child.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up on her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
Her doorstep being her grave? How many years has it been since? 9? And he still talks like she's still alive. 10? I can still remember it vividly. 2 men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each of their faces as they beat her to death with the briefcases. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months, something about the lot being a prime property in downtown Luxbourne. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? That quaint little shop was a dream for them. Therefore, the briefcase assassins did their job. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city. Oh, one casualty. Oh my god. They did it. They actually did it, those bastards. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains things. Alright, yeah. I was correct. A effing hotel now stands in its place. Oh, jeez, I hate that. It's like when I lived in Santa Rosa and all the downtown shops started getting turned into like loan centers and mortgage managing companies. It's a great shame. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it, but with the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. The professor hides it well, however I can tell that he hates that man to this day. He might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens in the city. He has never blamed me, though, when I'm as equally responsible for not staying there. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. Why didn't I execute them when I had the chance? I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her, called for help, or whatever. I didn't. Instead, I left. So it continues to eat at me until today. The guilt. The Luxbourne firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case if we could prove Luke right of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet, all he has for me are words of comfort. To think he can still be this concerned about me after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time. People never cease to amaze me.
You might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him.
You know, Professor Clark doesn't sound very British. Realized.
But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
You know, for that matter, neither does Ashton. The only British-sounding ones are, well, is, what's her name? Damn it. Rebecca! And I was gonna say Marianne, but then I realized that's probably not gonna go over well with anyone Irish. Suddenly, he stops. I imagine a thoughtful look flashing in his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He has never removed it since that day, has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, when he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize? Show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes. Him having lost his wife, and Ashton having, been taken off the case.
I apologize too for putting you up to this.
On another occasion, under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but...
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this, old man.
Cats on cat crime. It is an ordeal.
I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late. Deaths almost every day. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing...
He says deaths. What I hear is, job making. Making jobs. Suddenly there's all these openings in realty.
Professor, please.
Gotta be pragmatic in these times like these. Maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control, the letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those, I'd still be quick to blame it all on the bastard too. But as much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to his resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. 9, 10, 11? Who can tell at this point? This kind of anger? It's the sort that blinds people. Despite his reassurances, the bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really all right. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief.
Oh, don't lie, Ashton.
No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises, again, a bad habit at this point. Indeed, Ashton. I wish I could do more for him. All this time I've prided myself over being the one to always know. Because suddenly, aside from Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about, things that are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luke Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze. I'd be all too happy to put him on place he belongs, like in his own sex dungeon. Although, if he was in any way also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my hands tied. But maybe that's my fault for not going rogue. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night, if only I had done a better job during the party instead of being, dense about hating parties. But then the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me with their thoughts of threesome. I'd include that gate crasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. So many things have gone wrong last night that...
This isn't a prank! I saw something!
Yeah. Yes, I see something too. Ugh. The twitching. The twitching is a nice touch. Just right there. Ugh.
See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys. It's not a joke. Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night, at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Oh, but Ashton wants to get plenty harder on her. Shit. He just spaced out with the professor and we just started a new call. We accidentally called him again. If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if it was the same thing Rebecca talked about last night, did he just connect the dots? Wow, Ashton, for being a detective inspector or inspector detective, whichever it is, you are very dense. Or what Zach told me about a few days prior. Gods, how much of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as some effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? I know when I'm fatigued or haven't slept well, I see women who look very, very murderous and twitchy and bleeding to disheveled. And I don't mean the, yeah. Even last night, a hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's the setting the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information, something to form a conclusion from. If there was hallucinogens laced in all the food, why wasn't everyone else freaking out? Or were they used to it? Was it like everyone already knew? Proof in whatever, or it may come. What? Whatever. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible. At that, my God, this professor is so very patient to just stay on the phone for almost 2 minutes in silence. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone. I need a rubber duck. And Zach's the best person to be a rubber duck. I even have the costume for him and it fits him.
I have to go, Professor.
Professor's probably like, oh my God, thank you. I've just been waiting as you've been internally monologuing this whole time.
Oh, no problem. But what are you...
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say, that rambling old man, as I cut the call short. In the same second, coincidentally, Isabella emerges from her apartment fully dressed and ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but it falls just as fast once she catches a glimpse of my face. Because that's a horrible face, apparently. A shame, that would have been the first comforting thing I see today. It annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one replacing it. I must look close to a picture of someone choking or dying because there's nothing but concern in the first words she speaks. Ashton, you always look like someone who's choking.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't, okay. But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
He's got a catheter. He's already connected to like a camel backpack or whatever.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff from last night. I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Leave out everyone else.
Shouldn't we call him to let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon.
Good thing he didn't go into the house. He would have gotten stuck there like Marianne. Oh, God's Marianne. Rest in peace, Marianne. And then he would have dropped by an empty place.
Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
In danger? Yes.
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
If he's also been seeing things, if it's also the same woman I saw last night, if he survived the incident with the apparition in the dark room.
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Wow.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something.
Despite being able to talk.
You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
We head down to my car in record time. With not a second wasted, to hit the road and drive to Zach's place. If anyone of us, other than Isabella, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the muddled mess my mind is, it's got to be Zach of all people. He listened to her. Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on a weekend, especially after having a busy week. Oh my god. Especially after having a busy week like the last one. Yay for cats. Only need headphones off. Big guy's nowhere in sight, though, when I arrive in his unit. Uh-oh. Figures, people don't seem to be where they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. Usually he leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by and enters his apartment. As there isn't one, he probably just went out for a quick walk. I hope, and that he's not at the mansion. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went out to buy some. You could easily check the refrigerator. He is out of eggs after all. Oh, bravo, Ash. It puts my running mind to rest for a while. Who only buys like 6 eggs? He always has to have some, be it for an omelet or something he's baking.
Ash, should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Oh, Ash is used to that.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I could also go for a pie right now. I don't know what kind of pie that is. That's weird, Ash. But Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabella is quick to shoot me a sharp glare, and another chuckle slips from me despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a mere few seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood for any sort of friendly banter or flirting, or even, you know, a quickie on Zach's bed couch. It's the silence that's telling, and a quiet Isabella. It's usually the first recipe for an incoming shitstorm.
Do you always do this whenever you visit another person's house? Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Oh yeah, you wanna get to know someone? Check the refrigerator.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for our friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now, since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clasping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting enough that I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer, though, and the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. We might be here for a while. You can sit down.
I mean, she's already familiar with this place, having leapt here. She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Zach's study table. There's a study table? Is that the desk?
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
See? Detectiving, inspecting 101, right there. I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. Oh, is that how you proposition women, really? The messy bed suggests he was out in a hurry. He didn't even bother to fold the sheets or take his phone. Uh-oh. His cell phone's been left behind as well, another odd thing, when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case a client calls.
At least the locked door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit.
That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandable, anything might happen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone either. We'll have to check on her later, and she'll be dead. Gone. In the meantime, Zach, but with no other clue where he is and no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give the room another thorough run-through, but I don't think Zach would appreciate me upending his place. Isabella won't let me do that either. Besides, I haven't eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't too. We did leave in a hurry. Might as well take this chance to cool down a bit and eat the leftovers. Anything to distract myself so I don't just charge head first because whatever paranoid scheme that comes to mind. Isabella's with me. I can't be reckless. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I rifle through his cupboards. Of course, take his Yang's potato chips, original flavor. After muttering a permission and apology its owner won't hear, I grab it. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food, though. So instead, I set myself on Zach's old couch and turn on the television. Isabella's silence may not be too heavy, but it sure as hell is awkward. Screen lights up, right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste it away we do, and not in the fun way. The afternoon has hit its last few hours when movement comes from the other side of the door, and Zach's heavy treads break the monotonous drivel from the TV. The lock clicks, the knob turns, and slowly it opens to reveal a very exhausted-looking Zach. What? Did he run a marathon? From the mansion?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Eating your potato chips.
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his rival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends? Another minute had gone by without him showing up. I might have resorted to unconventional methods, like yelling from the rooftop.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment.
He's a police officer. You would think he would know how to break into apartments without breaking them.
And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to.
I know, it's a weird flex.
And hey, is that my...
Uh-oh. It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it, even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that a time might come where I might just do these without even meaning to and offend him in some way. Because you totally aren't. This is just friendly banter, right? Uh-oh, I did it again. The friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. He's so unaware. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I'd bet he'd say not so much. It's also this easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and the debate on whether or not I deserve them. But as usual, something always cut moments like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
You tried.
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
He tried. She said no.
Really? It's free food, you know. What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Not hungry for anything. Although her tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. Questions all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really wish I could answer him. Despite my best efforts, Isabella's been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? Can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend for Pete's sake, whoever this Pete is. It's a good thing Zach has better handled the situation than I, and soon enough he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences again before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? Mansion? The strange things we've been seeing? The letter? Even I am afraid of what he might say. I can't even believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
No, you're right. There really are some odd things going on here lately.
Like you guys.
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Unlike when he brought up the subject of the photos with me, he doesn't hesitate when Isabella asks for it. Zach hastily fishes them out of a nearby drawer and hands it to her. I can almost see it in him. The 1 second hindsight kicks in, and the realization that she would have been a better listener than I. Makes sense when all I've been doing until this morning is call it a Halloween prank. She goes through each of the prints in silence, her shoulders growing stiffer by the second until she has gone rigid and pale. But it is the telling glances they exchange afterwards that speaks volumes of the things running inside their minds.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there.
Had no idea this professor was an expert on the supernatural.
Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself. Because even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. The Lucky Charms, mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away or given as paltry gifts to those who would appreciate them more.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella.
Who the hell is Rose?
I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go off on from here? The worried look Zach shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either, when that's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass like they are.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zach? It's happening around Luxborn since Isabella found the letter.
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. Guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake the images off. Memories have never really left him. Isabella, though...
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
Quote unquote. That could easily mean anything. It was Jack in it, or Jill in it. Did her Kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? What? She's had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of cheer in her. Or is it that the other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, as far as I know. She already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. So, what is it then? Oh, and she got Rose's portion, right? Right?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Well, whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for casual discussion, else she would have mentioned it sooner. Tucking my curiosity away for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. Distraction. Not a good one, I admit, but it's definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find one doing a recap of this morning's reports. And there it is. Man burned after room catches fire. Another victim by the Anslim Butcher. Help me, help me. Poor guy is unidentifiable with how badly his body's been burnt, although they have a picture. Murder via arson, that's the logical explanation if I was the officer looking into it. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. Fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxbourne police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. Even though spontaneous human combustion is not a thing. But what's important for everyone to note is the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
Like what happened to Cooper. Hell, I wonder how many other deaths like this that I've missed while I've been looking into right. The LPD is already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anslim Butcher has always been an enigma even to the people within this city. Gone for a few years, then in the next one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time...
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Her words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, hitting her with guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she's also had to know that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. I sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is still a whole mess, and we're in it blind. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but a heavy silence leads our departure hours later. Seriously, Zach would probably make a more responsible officer than me if he only had the heart to join the force. We could certainly use more kind people like him. But as good as that thought is, I push all of it out into the back of my mind as Isabella and I head for my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. Except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is quiet, awkward affair, more so the hour-long wait for nightfall. Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy, only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't take away the edge. For the 5th time, I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose, because the radio is actually turned off. It's a nervous quirk I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts, something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? Masturbate? The person I usually count on for a casual, out-of-the-blue, hookup chat refuses my attempts at starting one.
Ash, out with it! If you...
Uh-oh. Cut that off. What was it gonna say? Ash, out with it.
Ash, out with it! If you have something to say.
Strange. The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we arrived. Maybe it's because of the masturbation.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno. You can get in trouble, maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out, see if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help. Find things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Like, recently? What is going on? Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work, almost a model employee, as people would say. Why is she throwing caution to the wind now?
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way.
How else was he gonna see them, Isabella?
Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first, after all. Why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it just means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Same way he breaks into, Zach's apartment.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yet you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know, but it's worth a shot when she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. He could always take her hostage. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes at that sudden thought that he could take her hostage. Panic and hesitation and a little bit of excitement. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves, not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly, or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her, perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh, tucking away every concern I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this, according her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time.
All right, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier.
That he's gonna rat her out to the Filipino embassy? Philippine embassy?
I won't let anything happen to you.
Her lips briefly turn up in a smile. Oh, he could always marry her and make her... No. Is that how it works in a... you know, the UK? Just marry someone and they're a citizen for as long as you're married to them. Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow, the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of a comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time, that the apparition is not waiting inside.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
That was his sour stroke right there. The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort, for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and aloof air won't hurt until I figured out how to wiggle us out of this situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
He's too busy masturbating. But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. He's probably been working here for a few months already then, maybe around 4 to 6 months, max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella or me. At first glance, I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough!
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez.
You were closer the first time?
Isn't it what is her name? No. What's her name? What is her name? What is her name? Santos. Oh. Jeez, he's just like going through the common names, huh?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. The skeezer's not going to last past this month. He can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
Still a few ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this. Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Uh-oh. Awkward moment.
Your boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
It'd be funny if she was like, wait, what guy? What are you talking about? There was no guy with me. And then she turns around, looks at him, and screams. It's a fair observation, if I do say so myself. Needless to say, the silence that descends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter is probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs. She laughs at the idea. How dare she? Lighter than the ones I've heard from her lately. A comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood this morning. Even as all of it subsides into mere chuckles sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no! No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
Definitely not boyfriend material. She might as well have set it on fire and reduce it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did she really have to put it that way? Did she have to throw in 5 or 7 no's?
That's impossible! Stop being funny, Seb.
That's impossible because he's gay.
I'll go on ahead, okay?
And he's dating Rebecca. She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me. I want to hear Seb mock him.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Oh, he's on the back burner.
Mind your own business.
Kids these days. Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who know more than they let on. All that office gossip.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Though seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy.
Anarchy.
Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
The anarchy.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Gurley? Isabella?
It's not too surprising considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another. Not that it's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least you could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Oh!
Wait, what?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker as if staring daggers at it will show me the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say. Why don't you just go after her?
Oh, well, that's how you do it.
As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be as smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
He cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. The Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind his station again. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although, no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Her father... I was going to say disappeared, but that's not quite correct. Her father passed away. Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But if what I've heard is exactly what I think it is, if it's a sign of things to come, honestly, I don't feel too good about that. Uh-oh, basement elevator. This looks ominous, so we're gonna stop here for now. Next time we shall descend into, hour 3 of, I think, Ash's 6-hour chapter? Can't remember.